So I wanted to talk a little bit about what is the higher self and how do we access it. So the higher self is really the equivalent of experiencing the full or complete picture of who we are. So for a moment, you might imagine taking a picture of yourself and zooming in so close that all you can see is your ear. And say that's all that you ever saw of yourself. So naturally you would believe, I'm my ear. That's who I am. Until perhaps one day you have the experience of the perspective zooming out to where you can see more of who you are. And you realize, oh, well, actually, I have eyes, I have a face, I have a body. There's more to me. So similarly, us human beings, have a body, we have a mind, we have emotions, we have our five senses, we have an ego, right? A personality, an identity, right, perhaps. So is how you might look at it. So we tend to think and believe, that's who I am. This is who I am. Until we have an expansion that allows us to experience more of who we are. And this expansion is an expansion of our own consciousness. It's the experience, ultimately, of our multidimensionality. We are infinite, multidimensional beings. So if we begin to zoom our perspective of ourselves out and expand that perspective, and we expand all the way back, ultimately we expand to pure source consciousness, undifferentiated. So that at the highest level, you might say, we are God. I am God. You are God. As we distill down through the levels and the layers and the dimensions of creation, we experience a differentiation, right? And then we come into this three-dimensional reality where we believe this is who I am and we're separate. But the truth is that we are always, in our wholeness and in our completion, we are source. So this process of awakening that we talk about in the world of spirituality and consciousness is essentially this process of awakening to these higher dimensions of who we are. It's an experience of our multidimensionality. And really, at its sort of essence, one of the main purposes of spiritual practice is to support us in purifying the body, purifying the mind, purifying the subconscious, so that we can begin to have that experience. So this is one of the first stages of the awakening process. It's purification. And really, actually, before that, let me back up. The very first step is conscious choice, because part of the human incarnation and the human experience is that we're all given free will. And not every soul has chosen and will choose in this lifetime to awaken. And that's fine, no judgment. It's a choice. But if you are called, if this is something that feels important for you, it's necessary that you first make a conscious choice and that you say, yes, I choose to take on this path and this process of divine transformation so that I can experience my higher self, my multidimensional reality, my soul, my authentic self. So we choose. And then we have to begin to purify, right? Whatever stands between us and that experience of ourselves as in our wholeness, right, is what the work of our spiritual practice is. And finally, I want to say this isn't a process that happens through the mind. It happens through the open heart center. The portal of the heart is the access point, and I'm talking about the spiritual heart center, is the portal to experiencing every level of our multidimensionality all the way back to pure source. So we have to heal the heart, and we have to open the heart, because most of us on this planet, right, have been conditioned by fear. We have learned fear. As babies, we're not born fearful. We learn it. And then through trauma and additional suffering, we learn to close our hearts down, to shut down. So being willing to open the heart and to experience ourselves as love, right? And to be able to feel that exchange of love is also a key component to the process. So I'm sure that if you're even watching this video, you have already in your life had some experiences of yourself as something more than just your mind, your body, or your ego. In transpersonal psychology, we call them transpersonal experiences that literally take us beyond the persona, beyond the personal, beyond the finite, to where we start to touch into our limitlessness or our infinity or our creativity. So you might think back and even write down what you can remember of those experiences, those transpersonal experiences for you. What did they bring for you? What did they reveal to you? What wisdom might they have for you now? Because ultimately we can begin to build on those experiences as well. It's very much like training a muscle. In learning to expand our consciousness, we do engage with practices that will support us in doing that. So stay tuned. I look forward to sharing so much more with you as together we awaken, explore, and expand our consciousness. So have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.